Hello again. I hope everybody had a really nice Christmas. I know I certainly did. I've had a few questions regarding the finish that I used on the lidded box in the last video. So I've just turned a Spalted Beach shallow bowl, a 6-inch bowl. I've completed the outside and finished it, and as I was about to apply the finish on the inside, I thought, hang on a minute, I could make a quick video about this and that'll explain the process that I use to achieve the finish. The products that are included in the finish are both Chestnut products, but that's the ones that I use, and it's a cellulose sanding sealer with thinned down with cellulose sanding thinners, cellulose thinners, and the proportions I use are 3:1. 3 of the sanding sealer to 1 part thinners. The reason I don't thin it down any more than that is that it would start to lose its properties of sealing the surface of the wood. It would actually be absorbed too far into the wood if it was thinned down any more than that, and then you'd find you'd have to be sanding wood away to actually get to the surface of the sealer. But a 3:1 seems to work pretty well. It's easier to apply and it dries a little bit quicker than putting it on neat. And then after I've done the process with the sanding sealer mix, I then apply several coats of this particular wax. It's Wood Wax 22, it's a Chestnut product again. It contains beeswax and carnauba wax, and it is a really good finish. Any proprietary brand of wax would do, I assume, but that's the one I happen to have and the one I'm using, and it works pretty well. So without further ado, we'll pop over to the lathe and I'll go through the process I use to achieve this finish. Hello again, back at the lathe. This is the bowl that I've just finished turning and sanded down to 600, because the idea of the sanding sealer is to do as the name suggests, to seal the wood. The first application raises any grain, which you then cut back with either wire wool or the same grit of paper that you used to finally finish your sanding of the bowl. The choice is yours. I prefer using the 0000 wire wool to apply the sanding sealer. I also use that to apply the first coat of wax, and I use paper towels for all this, for the polishing and the application as well. So we open up the mix and liberally put it on to your work and work it well in. The beauty of this actually is that if you let's say when you're sanding back the inside of the bowl, you might actually go a little bit over on the edge. Although I finished the back of the bowl, I will still do the edge again, because you can blend it in and it really doesn't show at all. And mix it well in and rub it in really well, and then allow it to dry. It takes about 5 minutes to dry off, and as I explained on my last video, you can see how it brings the grain out really nicely as well. So let that dry, and then we'll come back and cut it back. That's dried now, so now 0000 wire wool, and set the lathe. I have it on to its lowest, which is 500 revs, and you've got to be a bit careful with this one because I've got that inclusion in there, the hole, so do it extremely lightly so as not to get it trapped in the hole. And the reason that flew off was for that very reason. All you're doing is taking the surface down, the edges, and I did the back a little bit as well, up to the burn line. All you're doing is cutting it back and flattening the surface, taking the grain down that has risen slightly with the application of the sanding and just clean it off. Any little bits of dust that obviously will occur. Take another clean paper towel, another little paper towel, make a little wad, and again apply that all over the bowl. And if you use this method, you will find that on the second application of the thinners, it'll go on really smoothly, because as I say, you have already got the surface. And rub it in, keep rubbing it in. It has two effects there. It rubs it nicely in and also helps it to dry a bit quicker. Make sure it goes everywhere. As I say, that inclusion there I think is a nice bit of character, that's why I wanted to keep it in there. And I'll just brush on a little bit of possibly Danish oil on there, just to give it a coating so it doesn't look light. And then again, okay, that's dried again. Between 5 and 10 minutes, that's all it takes, depending on the atmosphere in your workshop. Turn the lathe on again to about 500 revs, and again, very lightly with 0000 wire wool, just cut back the surface of the sanding sealer. Just make a nice, smooth surface for when you apply your wax. The edge of the back as well, as I said, just to blend that in case I've just gone over when I'm sanding the inside of the bowl and the edge, just to make sure. And that's all it needs, and now it's ready for the wax. Just give it a take out any of the dust, that fine dust that's there. Okay, now again, using 0000 wire wool, just apply your wax. So again, apply your wax very lightly with the 0000 wire wool, and just keep working it in. No great pressure needed. Safer to use, and also because they're made out of wood, they burnish the surface very well as well, so you get a better finish overall when you're doing your final buffing. So again, make a little wad, and again just burnish the wax. Keep moving your wad all the time, otherwise sometimes you'll get a very slight build up, you get a streak or a line, which doesn't look very good. The aim is to get a smooth sheen finish over all the surface. And of course, the longer you do this while it's on the lathe and spinning, the wax is drying, because you're creating friction. Stop and have a look. You can already see, I think, that we're starting to get a nice shine. It's a lovely finish, and just let that dry a little bit. Give it 5 minutes and I'll come back again and put another coat on. You can put as many coats on as you like, but I tend to go with 2 or 3. We'll do 3 on this occasion, and it'll give you an idea of the depth of luster that you can get. Here we are, back for the last time. Again, just a bit of the wax, apply with a clean paper towel, and just keep working it in. As it's the right time, when it's really starting to dry properly, is because it becomes glass smooth. It's a very nice, simple finish, in my humble opinion. Okay, and just finally a completely clean towel, and make a little wad again with the paper towel, and just give it a final burnish. There you go, there you have it. You have a really nice finish. It's very simple to apply. I think you'll agree. It's a nice finish. Well, thanks very much for watching. I hope it's been of some use and answered some questions that people asked me. Have a wonderful New Year's Eve when it comes around, and I'll see you in the new year. And thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers, bye bye.